So why do you come to the People's Potato?
For the social life. It's a real social scene for me. I get to see friends every day and enjoy food with them.
I come basically because I like the food. For me, it's the best food on campus because it's very healthy and is free. So it's just by donation. Sometimes we give 1 cent, sometimes more, and and it's very good, very healthy. For me, it's the healthiest that I can find here.
So would you support a fee levy that the People's Potato are currently trying to get?
Depends how much. I think it's 10 cents per credit. Yeah, if it's 10 cents per credit, for sure, I support because I think it's worth.
So why do you come to eat at the People's Potato?
Honestly, it's a really, really healthy meal, and I am vegan and vegetarian, and to buy it all and prepare it all every day would be a lot of work. I wouldn't be able to do anything else I need to do.
So would you support a fee levy that the People's Potato are currently trying to get?
Definitely,
Why?
because it provides a great service that the students need for next to nothing.
Why have you chosen to come eat at the People's Potato today?
Mostly because it's free, and it's good. It's usually good.
Okay. And would you support a fee levy that the People's Potato are currently trying to get?
How much?
About 10 cents per credit.
Yeah, for sure.
You wouldn't mind paying more?
No.
Our question was, do you agree to increase the fee levy for the People's Potato by 10 cents, from 27 cents to 37 cents a credit, which means that it would, at this point, I think it's around $1.50 a credit. Not a credit, it's around $1.50 a semester, because it's 27 cents a credit, if you're taking 4 credits. And then it would go up to around $4 a semester, which we still don't believe is, that's still paying $4 for a semester's worth of lunch. So, and it's what we need to survive, basically. But we'll be talking about that more in March at our campaign. So the problem was that we wanted people to vote yes to our question. Meanwhile, the question that the CSU put for the Sustainability Action Fund was, do you agree to remove the Sustainability Action Fund's funding and switch it over to the CSU? So obviously the Sustainability Action Fund would want people to vote no to that. So then they put out big posters before the referendum day, when they weren't sure if it was going to be canceled or not, saying vote no at the CSU referendum, which made us a little bit frustrated because we would obviously want people to vote yes to our question. So the whole thing got really muddled. Last year was the first time that the Sustainability Action Fund actually went through. So last year, for instance, R4, which is another project of Sustainability Concordia, got a large amount of money to start a hot composter at Loyola, which is a pretty great project that's been put into action since. We actually at the Potato are really benefiting from that hot composter. We can send all of our compost there now. It's a really great system. I know Chartwell's over on the other side here also sends their compost there. It's really great. Our organization also got a grant from the Sustainability Action Fund last year for our garden project at Loyola to pay our worker to go and work there and get the garden going for the summer. So this year the Sustainability Action Fund was just continuing its work, and it's right now in the decision-making process for this year's project applications. We wrote them a public letter in the link, basically because we had a major problem with our fee levy campaign. At the beginning, when we wanted to campaign for our fee levy increase, we were told by the CSU that we needed 1,000 signatures in order to submit our question to the council. So we spent a lot of work hours trying to get those signatures. 1,000 signatures turns out isn't that easy to get. We ended up getting them, submitting them, and then being told that we didn't ever need them, even though we'd been told by 2 different people in the CSU that we needed them. So that happened. Then, of course, they put everything was very slapdash in terms of the meeting and the referendum questions. They called even our council meeting within 24 hours. We had 24 hours notice that our question was going to be at the council meeting, and luckily one of our collective members could go and present our case. But anyway, the whole thing, and then in the end, when they canceled the referendum, they didn't even tell us. We had to look at the website of the CSU and see that the referendum was canceled. So all that was really frustrating for us. But they wrote a letter of apology, and they're looking to work with us for our cooking classes that we always do every year. And it will be really good to work with the CSU for that because they have a lot more ability to advertise than we do. What happened is that we had a question to increase our fee levy, the potato, not the Sustainability Action Fund. Then the CSU put the question of the Sustainability Action Fund on the referendum illegally. So then the Sustainability Action Fund started campaigning to get their question off the ballot, or just then to stop the referendum entirely because it was illegal, that their question was on there at all, and they were really worried about their funding. So they ended up getting the CSU ended up canceling the referendum because of all the pressure from the Sustainability Action Fund, which just meant that our question was canceled too.
What made it legal exactly? That they just put it on without asking?
They didn't announce the agenda beforehand. They called the meeting. They put the question of the Sustainability Action Fund on the agenda. They then voted to put the Sustainability Action Fund's funding into question on the referendum ballot, and all this happened without any prior notice. So that was what was illegal in that whole thing. So then the Sustainability Action Fund tried to retaliate by calling its own meeting, like another CSU meeting, to try to to try to remove that question from the referendum. But they didn't succeed because, once again, that's an illegal meeting being called. And so the question went through on the referendum because it was voted to be on by the CSU council, right, at a council meeting. But then, of course, the Sustainability Action Fund got really upset, and there was like a major amount of upheaval. And somebody, I believe, from the CSU then tried to get an injunction, like in municipal court, to stop the referendum. And it was supposed to, because the referendum was supposed to happen October 28th, 29th, 30th. And on the morning of October 28th, the CSU was being taken to court. Obviously, the court case never happened. The CSU just canceled the referendum that morning, didn't tell us, the potato, that they were doing so. And we'd been campaigning for 2 weeks, expecting our question to be going through. So now what's happening is that all of the fee levy groups are trying to get together, to band together to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Like that the CSU won't be able to just single out one fee levy group and put its funding into question like that. So now there was a preliminary meeting last week between, like the Concordian, the Link, 2110, the Frigo, the Potato fee levy groups to try to become one major group that would then be have more political weight, if you will, with the CSU when this kind of thing happened. And that would be able to question each other's funding in a friendly way, because we all receive funding, and we would all be able to examine each other's budgets. We'd all be able to examine each other's budgets and not leave it to the CSU to examine us in an unhelpful way.
How are you guys doing budget-wise right now?
We thought that we had problems with money to the point where we would need this referendum the fee levy increase to happen now to increase our funding for January, but it turns out that we don't actually have the problems that we thought we did. We've actually budgeted a lot better than we thought we did, and we're hoping to just go through with our fee levy campaign in March at the regular scheduled election time, and it'll be fine for us.
Thank you very much. For CUTV, I'm Marie-Ève Gagné.